There are three things that I truly love in this world, and those would be a good slice of key lime pie, 7 hours of commercial-free football, and movies that are set in the city of Boston, baby. So did Matt Damon and Casey Affleck cook up a new classic with their film The Instigators? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? I'm Sully, and today we're talking about the brand new Boston heist comedy with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, The Instigators. All you need to know about this one is that the story goes like this. Rory and Cobby are unlikely partners thrown together for a heist, but when it goes awry, they team up to outrun police, backward bureaucrats, and a vengeful crime boss. So being from Boston myself, it's kind of hard not to get completely swept up in the insane amount of crime movies that take place here. It basically becomes part of your personality by the time you hit middle school. I mean, we're talking about The Departed, Gone Baby Gone, The Town. How can you not get romantic about a lineup of that quality? It's top tier. I don't know if I've gone a single day in my entire life without hearing someone quote a line from at least one of those movies. So when I heard that Matt Damon and Casey Affleck were teaming up with Doug Liman, the director that brought us Edge of Tomorrow and The Bourne Identity, to make their own version of a New England heist comedy, I couldn't have bought my tickets fast enough. Like, I'm totally the target audience for something like this at the end of the day. I love these kinds of back against the wall, high intensity crime capers filled with larger than life characters that have great comedic chemistry together. This one should be an easy win, right? Well, unfortunately, after seeing the movie for myself, I'm gutted to report that The Instigators is basically a muddled and rushed compilation of the greatest hits the genre has to offer, with none of the thrills, laughs, or creativity that makes them so much fun in the first place. We have to talk about the performances here for a second, because on paper, this is really an all-star lineup from front to back. I mean, obviously you have Matt Damon and Casey Affleck leading the charge here, but outside of them, you have names like Chau, Ving, Rhames, Ron Perlman, Paul Walter Hauser, and others rounding out this absolutely stacked group of actors. And I think if you're a fan of all the people involved, which how could you not be, there will be moments you'll enjoy because the cast is incredibly easy to root for alongside the backdrop of this botched heist. But the big issue here is really with the material itself. Because when it comes to the actual story, there's really nothing in this film that you haven't seen done 1,000 times before. Filled to the brim with cliche dialogue, predictable story beats, and almost zero character development, the word that instantly comes to mind when thinking about the plot here is generic. And that absolutely sucks when you have this kind of talent at your disposal, but you just can't put it all together. It's kind of like when one of your all-time favorite restaurants gets taken over by new management. You know, you're expecting your usual, and all those good ingredients are still in there, but it just doesn't quite taste right. It's a bummer, man. I think a unique thing about these heist comedy movies is that you can kind of forgive the plot for making no sense or just going through the usual motions, as long as the action-heavy situations our characters find themselves in are entertaining and take you on a wild ride. And obviously, there are a couple sequences in here that are gonna get extra points from a guy like me, since they're having high-speed chases down the streets I always drive, or robbing a place I've been before. Trust me, I'm certainly not above the movie version of someone jingling keys in front of my face to keep me entertained, but all in all, the action in this movie is pretty uninspired. It's almost like they went down a checklist of whatever the majority of these types of movies usually include and just went with that like they were placing an order at McDonald's. Yeah, let me get 2 car chases, a shootout near a bank vault, and a side of blowing up a bar, please. And sometimes that's okay for a movie like this that doesn't usually push itself out of its comfort zone in the first place all that often, as long as you put a fresh spin on what you're doing, whether that be interesting camera angles or cranking the spectacle up to 11. Yeah, this movie attempts to do neither of those things. Everybody knows that I absolutely love seeing directors take big creative swings for the fences, even if the final product doesn't totally work for me. Well, this movie is like Doug Liman laying down a bunt off of a tee. How exciting is that? Overall, guys, The Instigators is a disappointment on pretty much every level. The great cast is flat out wasted, the story is predictable at every turn, and the action is very run-of-the-mill. I think if you're someone that wants something low stakes to have on as background noise, you could do worse because it hits all the usual beats and there are definitely some entertaining moments, but anything more than that is setting yourself up for an unsatisfying experience. No more free Dunkin' Donuts for these guys until they get their act together. The Instigators gets a Sully score of 2 stars. So that's my review for the latest Boston crime film. What do you think is your favorite movie that fits into that subcategory? I'd probably have to say The Departed, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.